Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, but somehow you're still falling behind? That was me just a few weeks ago. Overwhelmed, overworked, and feeling stuck despite my best efforts. But today, I want to share how I shifted from that chaos to feeling focused and balanced. My hope is that it helps you feel the same way. So this isn't some one-time done-for-life advice. It's about a mindset and habit shift that got me back on my feet, and I believe it can help you too. But first, let me explain what contributed to that overwhelming feeling. So this past summer, I attended 2 amazing conferences in Scottsdale, Arizona. The first one was Powerhouse Women, hosted by Lindsay Schwartz, and the second one was Girlfriends and Business, hosted by Lori Harder, the host of Earn Your Happy. And going to these conferences, I learned so much about how to build my dream business and expand my podcast. I met incredible women who seem to have it all figured out. They're beautiful, they look happy, they have thriving 6 or 7 figure businesses, they speak at events, they host podcasts, they write best-selling books, some of them did TEDx talks. Being around people who are doing what you want to do can be incredibly inspiring. But it can also leave you feeling like whatever you're doing is just not enough. And that's where I found myself, supercharged with inspiration, but also very overwhelmed with everything I have to accomplish. And maybe you've been there too. You get fired up with ideas and you start listing all the things you think you should be doing. After I came back from these conferences, this was my list of things to do. I wanted to launch a newsletter, pitch myself as a guest on podcast, start a monthly work club, host a monthly webinar, create a reel every day, and also I wanted to learn more about how to build a 6-figure business by following a weekly phone calls and a virtual course. This is a huge list. So what happened next? Well, for a few weeks, I tried to do everything on that list. But with each project, I made such slow progress that it felt like nothing significant was happening. I would start one task, switch to another, and by the end of the week, I had packed my schedule, I was tired, but I didn't feel like anything moved forward. Does that sound familiar to you? So after a few weeks of doing this, I could hear a little voice inside me whisper, "What if you were doing less?" What? Less? How is that going to help me doing less when I need to do more? It took me a couple of months to finally listen to that voice. But when I finally did, it changed everything. So concretely, what happened? I took an afternoon, I sat down with my thoughts, and I wrote down everything I wanted to achieve. Then I organized my goals into categories like health, finance, career, speaking goals, podcast goals, and I looked at my actual schedule. Back to real life, looking at time. I looked at the time I had available after sleeping, working out, and spending time with my husband. From there, I asked myself, what are the 1, 2, 3 goals that I can realistically focus on week after week? So these goals should push me slightly beyond my comfort zone, but not overwhelm me. If you listen to episode 14 with Sarita Fishner, she explained to me her vision on how to go outside of her comfort zone, and she's actually more into expanding her comfort zone rather than stepping outside it. So maybe this approach might resonate more with you too. Ask yourself, what are the 1 to 3 immediate goals that gently stretch your limits? Also, why 1 to 3 goals? Well, my dad used to say, in French, ne cours pas après plusieurs lièvres à la fois, which translates to don't chase several hares at once. Why? Well, because you won't catch any. You will be just constantly distracted working on so many things. And that's why I focus on just 1 to 3 goals at a time. When you concentrate your energy, you make meaningful progress. Okay, let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to share with you my 3 goals. So, when doing this exercise, after narrowing my focus, here are the 3 goals I've been working on. First one is health related. I want to reach 18% body fat. I'm currently at 22%. I'm curious about how my body will change and what lifestyle that requires. Once I get there, I will assess how sustainable this is for me. Second goal for me is finance related. I want to refill my emergency fund to 9K. I am currently at 5K. If you're not familiar with what an emergency fund is, it's a savings account where you save money for emergencies, as the name tells you. So for example, if your car breaks down, if you have unexpected health expenses, or you lose your job, well, this money is set aside for easy access to help you, move forward. So it's not usually recommended to use it for paying your credit card debts, but it's what I did anyway. And I dipped into it after some trips and conferences I shared earlier with you. And now it's just time to rebuild my emergency fund. Okay, and my third goal is podcast related. My goal is to reach 100 listens per episode. I used to be embarrassed, actually, that I hadn't hit that number yet. But my husband reminded me that having 20 listens to my episodes is like having 20 people in front of me right now listening to me. And this could be actually very impressive. So I'm grateful for every listener and I'm working towards more. Now I want to shift the focus back to you. Have you been feeling overwhelmed lately? When is the next time you can carve out some time to sit with your thoughts and map out your goals? Is it after work today? Could it be over coffee on Saturday morning after your spinning class? Really, take a moment to think about it. When can you next make time for yourself just to do a brain download and put everything on paper or on your notes? When you get that time, here's what I want you to do. Write down everything you want to accomplish. Circle 1 to 3 of the most important goals. Be very specific about what you want to achieve. And remember, we're expanding our comfort zones here, not trying to steal someone else's. So if you make $30,000 a year, maybe your next goal isn't to make $1 million just yet. I know you can do it 100%. I'm just saying, what is the next step you can focus on right now that will keep you motivated? So you just heard my goals. I would love to hear what your goals are. Feel free to send them to me at juliette@goodinmotion.ca if you want that extra accountability. Since doing this exercise, I feel like I know where I'm going and that I will get there. I'm also enjoying the journey more because I leave space for those magical moments like watching Love is Blind with my husband or taking an extra long coffee break. I don't need to optimize every second of my schedule, and that feels amazing. And I want that for you too. You shouldn't feel overwhelmed 100% of the time. Thank you for being here, my 20 plus loyal listeners. I'm so happy you're here, and I wish you a fantastic day.